It's always heartwarming to see animals helping each other. But it's even better when we humans are the ones who did it. We help them because we feel connected to them. And in this list of 10 times humans helped animals and got thanked in the cutest way. Number 10. Deer. How about a real-life Bambi story? What's that? I hear everyone screaming. Give me the real-life Bambi story right now. Well, here it goes. But a morning you prepare for cute animal overload. When this deer was just a little baby, which is known as a fawn, she was rescued by a woman who took her and fed and cared for her. Because if she hadn't done that, you just know a whole tragedy involving a certain skunk and a hunter would have played out, and then we'd all be sad. So this is kind of the happy Bambi story. This deer seems to understand that not all humans are out to hunt them, and that this one probably saved its life after she was abandoned alone in the forest. So she comes back from time to time and greets her human BFF and receives a nice bottle of milk while having the freedom to run around the kitchen. And she sure does seem to love chugging down the milk. After this, she gets to head back into the forest and run free and happy see a happy Bambi story like I promised. Number 9. Bull. In Spain, the sport of bullfighting dates back to ancient times, but in modern times, many people believe it to be cruel to the animals, and so groups have formed with the intention of rescuing bulls who would otherwise be destined to fight for their lives in the bull ring. Christophe Thomas is a French farmer, and he was able to rescue a bull named Fagin from his fate, and instead give him a life out in the field. And since then, the two have become the best of buddies. Christophe says that Fagin is more faithful than even a pet dog, and the two love to hang out and play together. And they're not alone, as Christophe brings his baby goats along too, who seem to love to sit on Fjordan's back, maybe hoping for one of those rides that are so popular with spring breakers and people visiting Texas for the first time ever. Christophe is determined to show the world just how soft and playful bulls can be if you treat them. Number 8. Brantley, Harrison, and his squirt. We know that goldfish have a short memory, even Dory from Finding Nemo, but that's not the case with squirts. If you do something nice for them, they will remember it. Just like Brantley Harrison's squirt, Bella. In 2009, Harrison and her family rescued a small, injured squirt. An owl attack had left Bella in critical condition, so Brantley decided to take it and raise it alongside 3 other squirts. Bella stayed with the Harrisons for almost a year, and when Bella had regained her health, she left to start her own life in the wilderness. But she didn't forget about her foster family. She would visit them almost every day to say hello and hop along. It gets better. A few years after Bella's original stay, she came with an injured foot, which is the unfortunate bit. But she also came with a belly full of babies. Brownlee said it was truly amazing to watch the baby I raise her own babies you don't see every day unless you were a Chip and Dale fan. Truly amazing. I really do. It just makes me happy every day that I see her. Number 7. Jewel and his penguin friend. Penguins are creatures that live in the cold, but their heart isn't the opposite of that. In fact, they're the funniest and cutest animals out there. And Dindom is a special case, too. Back in 2011, a retired bricklayer, Joel Pirita found a penguin covered in oil and essentially starving on the beach. He couldn't leave the poor critter in that condition, especially when the Magellanic penguins bred 5,000 miles away. So he took them in. Over the course of one whole week, he cleaned the tar off his feathers and fed him for 11 months. For the longest time, he would not leave. But as soon as he grew a new coat of feathers, Dindom left. That was expected. But what wasn't expected was that he came back. Ever since he officially left, the penguin swims miles and miles just to hug and greet his savior. Maybe these two should start in the next Happy Feet movie. Number 6. A very emotional lion. A lion hugging you seems like a life or death situation since they are the biggest predators out there. But they don't hunt down the rescuers. This clip of a lion and woman has a beautiful story behind it, although the video is very old from 2007. Actually, it's about a lion named Jupiter. The lion was made to work in a traveling circuses, and he was severely abused and malnourished. Then came along Anna Julia, his savior. She rescued him from the awful circus group and brought him to the Via Lorraine Animal Shelter in Colombia, which she runs. She said Jupiter is wonderful. He's feeling, but he's very human and living. I think this hug is the most sincere I've ever received to thank her. He gives her a big hug, one that's rare, too. Maybe these honking monsters aren't all that bad. Number 5. Bird returns to rescuer to say hello. Ian Convert belongs to the family of vultures. They're just like them, except they're a lot bigger and more aggressive. Wild birds and humans are the one combination no one thought of, but this video taken by Nestor David proves otherwise. This condor fell from his nest as a baby, and the man Nestor's cousin, Edgardo de la Gaspara, and the video saved his life. The poor baby bird had a broken leg, so Edgardo took care of him and nursed him back to health until it could take him on the skies by itself. Years later, when it was all grown and independent, the condor came back to Lancup, Argentina, where the Lagarda first found the chick. He's hugging his rescuer like there's no tomorrow. It's quite rare for birds to have such good memories that they recognize their place and the person who saved them. So this video is definitely a miracle. Number 4. Jimbo. The bear who loves to cuddle. Jim and Susan Quaxick are a couple that led a very interesting life. They are parents to a huge bear, Jimbo. Jimbo was never a wild bear. He was born at a wildlife park in California and brought to the Orphan Wildlife Center when he was an injured cub. Without help, he wouldn't be able to survive. Sending him into the wild isn't an option. The owners of the Wildlife Center happened to be Jim and Susan. Out of the 11 bears Jim and Susan cared for, Jimbo was the biggest one, and he was also the one who loves hugs the most. Despite being a giant, he loved cuddling with his parents. The couple said that the bears are like their children, and none of them were taught tricks or anything. They're kept as bears and were allowed to behave as such. Now that's what actual wildlife center owners should be like. Number 3. Emma the moose makes a comeback. Living on a farm has its perks. There are not many people to bother you. However, wild animals might just choose to have a child on your fronts because that's what happened with Erica's Plucus. One day, Erica saw something very weird on his front gate. A moose that to a calf who looked so scared that it didn't even move at all. The man looked for his mother but didn't find anything. Apparently, the moose, his mother, had been shot by a hunter and the calf managed to escape. Erica took matters into his own hands. When local services didn't help, he kept the calf in his farm where Emma the moose would sleep. Sometimes even he would sleep with her. She stayed there till he was old enough to go into the wild. Emma was happy to leave as she wanted to explore the world now, but she couldn't forget about Erica's. In fact, he would come back every day for a swim. The most surprising is that Emma doesn't like any other human except her human, Erica's. Number 2. Whale shark shows gratitude. The last thing you want is a shark swimming up to you when you're diving. But this poor shark didn't mean any harm. In fact, it actually hurt somehow. It had a hook structure on the underside of its belly. When the whale saw a diver nearby, it swam near him. The diver was smart enough to understand that it was in pain and immediately removed the hook. He thought the shark would swim away, and it did. Only it came back as if to say thank you. Then it left and then came back. It kept coming back, just to get a head rub from the diver. If that's how sharks show gratitude, then we should all be nicer to them. Number 1. Chimpanzee gives Jane Goodall a big hug. Chimpanzees are very complex and smart creatures. After all, they're sort of related to the Homo sapiens species. But poachers don't understand that they steal and take part in illegal bushmeat trade, which is why one of the chimpanzee was stolen from her family. But Jane Goodall, a British ethologist and researcher on chimpanzees, rescued her facility, gave her the medical treatment wound and needed, and even all the love and affection an animal needs. Years after the rescue and rehabilitation process, when she sees Jane Goodall, she remembers her clearly and gives her a big hug. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.